And you say, but wait a minute, the Edomites were our brothers. You know, how can a actual Aramaean or Syrian be our brother? Well, let's find out. All right, this is okay. I went back and all right, that was the whole thing that I had there. All right, now let's go here to the scriptures and let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 26, just to find out what what the deal was with, because the burden of proof is what, to find out that why did it call the Syrian our brother. You know, that's the burden of proof. Why did they call the Syrian our brother? Because Esau, we know, was our brother basically based on the scriptures. So now how do we know that what you're saying is not, you're not just making it up, that the scriptures say that Esau is Jacob's brother. So now how can you say that the Syrians are Jacob's brother? Well, we're going to find out. Deuteronomy 26:1. And it shall be, when thou art come in unto the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance, and possessed it, and dwellest therein, is the Most High speaking to Jacob, that thou shalt take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, which thou shalt bring of thy land, that the Lord thy power giveth thee, and shall put it in a basket, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy power shall choose to place his name there. And thou shalt go unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I profess this day unto the Lord thy power, that I am come unto the country which the Lord sware unto our fathers for to give us. And the priest shall take the basket out of thine hand, and set it down before the altar of the Lord thy power. And thou shalt speak and say before the Lord thy power, a Syrian ready to perish was my father. So who is he speaking about here? He's speaking about Abraham. So the scriptures call Abraham Syrian. But he really wasn't Syrian, but he was living in that land. Because where was Abraham born? He was born in Ur of the Chaldees, right? So if he was born in Ur of the Chaldees, why did they call him Syrian? It was because when he left out of Ur of the Chaldees, which the Most High separated him from there to give him the land of Israel, which was called the land of Canaan at that time, he took a journey, and the journey that he took, the so-called scholars today they call it the Fertile Crescent. So as he was going up on the uphill of the Fertile Crescent, as you go up going towards like Turkey, you have a place there called Haran, and Haran was named after one of Abraham's brothers. That's where he landed at right there. He stopped there for a minute, and they were there for a while, and that's why it called him Syrian. So it says a Syrian ready to perish was my father. Then from that point on, then he came down and went, as it says here, and he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation great, mighty, and populous. All right, so that's why it called Abraham Syrian, but he really wasn't a Syrian. All right, and just like they call Bethuel Syrian, they call Laban a Syrian, they call Rebecca Syrian. They weren't Syrian. They were of Abraham's line through his father Terah, and one of Abraham's brothers, and I believe the brother's name was Nahor, because Abraham had two brothers, Haran, which died, and then you had Nahor. All right, and I'm gonna show you that. All right, but before I go there, I want to go to the book of Genesis, the 29th chapter. Let me hold on to that just in case we need it again. Genesis, the 29th chapter, just to further prove to you that what they call Syrian, which they really weren't Syrian, really, you know what, before I go there, before I actually go there, I'm going to go here to this scripture here real quick, Genesis 22 and 20, just to show you that, because Abraham wasn't Syrian. Abraham, Bethuel, Rebecca, and Laban, they weren't Syrian. Even though they were called Syrian in the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, they were called that because they lived in that land. Sometimes people were called by the name of the land that they lived in. All right, and you have examples of that today. So this is Genesis 22 and 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she had also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. All right, this is one of Abraham's brothers, the one that was left alive. So Milcah was his wife. So it said that she bore him children, right? It says Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram. Now this is not the Aram in the book of Genesis, the 10th chapter, because this is way after. This is Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram. All right, so these are sons of Nahor. All right, and then it says, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. So Bethuel, which was the father of Rebekah, was born unto Nahor, Abraham's brother. Now we know that Abraham came out of what? He came out of the line of Arphaxad. When you go into the book of Genesis, the 10th chapter, Shem had 5 sons. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Shem had 5 sons. This is Genesis 10. Just get that for you real quick. Genesis 10 and around 22. Right, it says the children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. So Abraham came out of Arphaxad's line. He didn't come out of Aram. Alright? So that's why it says back here that and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel was what? He was called Syrian in Genesis the 25th chapter. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. Abraham's brother. Alright? And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she bare also Tebah, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maacah. So you see, Nahor was Abraham's brother. Bethuel was Abraham's son. Rebekah was Bethuel's daughter. So that's why it said, thou shalt not abhor Syrian, because he is thy brother. That's why when you read here in Genesis 29, and you go down to the, just bear with me 1 second here. I don't have this written down, so I gotta find the exact verse. Alright, let me start here. It says, Genesis 29 and 10. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near, and rolled a stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother. See? And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother. Alright? Now if you don't understand that Bethuel came from Nahor, and Nahor came out of Terah, which is Abraham's father, and they all came out of the line of Arphaxad, you won't really understand what this is saying. And that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob his sister's brother, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother. See, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? So that's why when you read, let's see if I could pull it up again. When you read in Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, and the 7th verse, thou shalt not abhor a Syrian, for he is thy brother. Now you understand what that means. Because these so-called Syrians, like Abraham, wasn't Syrian, he just lived in that land. Laban, Bethuel, Rachel, they weren't Syrian. They just happened to be living in that land. That's why they were called by that name. But they really were of the line of Arphaxad, of the line of Terah, of the line of Nahor, Abraham's brother. So when it says thou shalt not abhor a Syrian, that's what it means, not Edomite. So these Masoretes, they were very cunning when they put that in there. And they did that on purpose to deceive those that are waking up, because they are the devil. They are the devil, and that's it. So you guys out there that's teaching this nonsense about Deuteronomy 23 and 7, this is not a scripture that you can go to and pull out and try to get people to accept Edomites or these so-called white people out here to be delivered, because they're not going to be delivered. All right.